Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. Agit Kabeyel has pulled off a massive upset, stopping Arslanbek Makhmudov. Yes, that's right, you heard that right. Stopping Makhmudov, the big hulking Russian, inside 4 rounds. And I think we always knew that the wheels were going to fall off at some point for Makhmudov. But was it going to be against Kabeyel, who's not a huge puncher, but he is a good body puncher? And he was able to pick apart Makhmudov through this fight. First couple of rounds able to box, move, pop the jab, land some counters, but it was round 3 where he just turned it up, held his feet a little bit more and started to trade with Makhmudov, finding holes galore, and Makhmudov was slowly getting chopped down to the body. The body shots were really making him wince, and as soon as he started to bring his hands down, Kabeyel started working upstairs too. So he was rocked and backed up a couple of times, more body shots come in, massive round 3 for Agit Kabeyel. And you sort of thought from that point, well, this is not looking good for Makhmudov, and it wasn't. So Kabeyel follows up and continues battering Makhmudov to the body in particular, but an array of other shots coming in, and Makhmudov goes down. He goes down again, and then he goes down a third time to be stopped by Agit Kabeyel, the German, who's basically wasted the past 5 years or so since a win over Derek Chisora. Had done nothing since that fight of note, and actually was down in his last fight against Argon Smakici, and it looked in that fight that he might get stopped. But, you know, moments in fights, obviously, he just landed the body shots here and was able to pull off the massive upset. I think anyone who's watched Makhmudov for a period of time likes the way he fights because he's fun, but there's always gaps and holes, and this was going to always happen at some point. Just didn't think it was going to be Kabeyel to be the one to do it. So Makhmudov, who had a high ranking in the WBC at number 4, takes the first loss, and I think a lot of other fighters who'd probably been a little bit hesitant to maybe jump in the ring because some of the destruction he'd previously meted out to other opponents probably are going to be like, well, this guy is beatable, we've just seen the blueprint, which is effectively you just need to counterpunch and obviously be accurate and work him to the body. So Makhmudov, massive upset, and obviously a long way back for him. Sure, he would have got paid well here, and also Kabeyel, you know, he's been basically sitting, waiting and watching, trying to beg the title holders in recent years for paydays, and he hasn't been willing to sort of step up and face other contenders. Obviously was paid a huge amount of money for this one to actually coax him out of his 1 fight a year routine, which he's been in since, for the past 5 years. And he's shown his mettle. He's reannounced himself to the heavyweight division. And this is a very big statement from Kabeyel. Those who followed the channel for quite a long time know that I had high hopes for Agit Kabeyel after he defeated Derek Chisora. That I rated him the first year or two afterwards. I was hoping he would step up to much bigger and better fights. Just didn't happen for him, and it didn't look like he was really forcing in the issue either, apart from saying that he deserved title shots. On the strength of this performance, he puts himself in the mix, but he can't just rest on his laurels and demand title shots. You know, I think arguably a lot of people would say this win, yeah, it's great, but he needs to have one big fight, a real contender level fight against someone of note to really demand and put himself in that sort of pipeline for a title shot next. So huge upset. And for Arslanbek Makhmudov, who has struggled to get opponents in the last few years as he sort of raised up the levels, and who can forget that fight with Carlos Takam, where he dropped Takam. It was a close fight, beat him narrowly on the scorecards, and now he's tried to, in Saudi Arabia, get another win, but he's come up short and really shown a vulnerability to the body. And you've had Kabeyel in previous fights, a lot of under-the-radar fights that hardly anyone was watching in Germany, using the body shots to great effect, dropping opponents. But this here was a statement on the world stage. Huge statement for Agit Kabeyel, and let's hope that he can actually make the most of it. Take advantage, get back out on another Riyadh season card, maybe being overpaid again, but facing someone of note that we actually want to see him in with. I think I said in my preview video that he was a guy that always looked to have top 15, top 20 talent, and he's proven that again, that he's in that sort of sphere, and potentially he can push for higher honours. But we've got to see it. The wheels were always going to come off at some point for the leaky defence of Makhmudov, who is, a guy who likes to come forward, use his hulking size, throw big right hands and right uppercuts, and try to sort of bum rush you and get you out of there. Didn't work on this occasion, and Kabeyel the victor. So who knows what next for Makhmudov? That could really sort of be a nail in the coffin of his career, because we've been saying he's largely a one-trick pony, and when that trick doesn't work, it's going to come short at a certain level, and it's not even come up at world level. Kabeyel is not an elite fighter, but he's a very good heavyweight, and he's made mincemeat out of Arslanbek Makhmudov. So this is going to be a better pill to swallow for Makhmudov, who's based himself in Canada in recent years, had been building a name, had been building a following, had been fun to watch. But I think many of us probably expected it might be against a slightly higher level opponent where he would eventually fall short. But Kabeyel, full credit to him, big upset. This is why we love boxing. The theatre of the unexpected. It was a fight that came from nowhere, and it was an intriguing one to some degree. But one of the big questions heading into it was, well, what is the 5 years effectively of one fight a year? A lot of inactivity from Kabeyel. What's that done to him? Apparently not much. He did look a little shaky in the Smikici fight, but he's brushed that off and got a huge win here. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Boxing_squared. I'm out.